The Galactic Empire, which ruled over innumerable star systems with an iron grasp and advanced technology far beyond the understanding of most creatures, had arrived. Their spacecraft blotted out the skies of worlds they conquered, a harbinger of doom for civilizations that refused to submit. When humanity first appeared on the galactic stage, they were seen as insignificant, tiny, fragile beings from a small, unremarkable planet. Scholars of the Empire classified Earth as primitive, hardly noteworthy. Yet humanity possessed something that most species did not, a resilient spirit and a survival-focused mind, honed by millennia of adversity. The Empire's emissaries arrived on Earth with their customary demands: submission, homage, obedience. They expected compliance, for none had ever stood tall against them. Their elaborate armor gleamed as they spoke of the Empire's protection, its leadership, and the doom that awaited those who defied it. The human leaders listened in silence, their expressions unreadable. When the emissaries finished, the humans asked but one question: what if we refuse? The emissaries laughed. Their arrogance blinded them to the warning hidden within that simple query. A high-ranking imperial envoy, tall and imposing, leaned forward. "It would be foolish to decline," he said. "Do you not see what we are offering?" The human representative did not flinch. "Without us, your people will perish in the galactic turmoil," the envoy continued. The humans did not argue. They did not plead. They simply stared, unshaken. The emissaries returned to the Empire, enraged and humiliated. They twisted humanity's stance into a tale of arrogance, painting Earth as an insolent world daring to oppose the galaxy's supreme power. The Emperor himself, a figure shrouded in legend and fear, made his decree: humanity must be destroyed, not just to punish Earth, but to serve as a warning to all who might think to resist the war machine of the Empire. The war machine roared to life. Thousands of warships were mobilized, each armed with weapons beyond comprehension. Legions of soldiers stood ready, confident in their inevitable victory. Earth, however, did not react as expected. Intercepted transmissions showed no panic, no cries for help, no desperate pleas for negotiation. Humanity's only message was simple: "If you insist, remember you were warned." The Empire dismissed it as bravado. They had seen defiance before. It always crumbled under the might of their forces. But then, reports began to trickle in, reports that unsettled even the most confident Imperial commanders. Earth showed no sign of military mobilization. Civilians went about their daily lives as if nothing was happening. Industry continued undisturbed. The lack of preparation was seen as proof of humanity's ignorance. And yet there were whispers, rumors of an unknown project. Scientists and engineers working tirelessly on something vast, yet undefined. Spies infiltrated Earth, desperate to uncover the truth. But their findings only deepened the mystery. Whatever humanity was preparing, it was not a fleet, not an army, not even a planetary defense system. No one knew what it was. The Emperor dismissed these concerns. No species had ever withstood the might of the Empire. Humanity would be no different. The fleets arrived. The Empire's forces surrounded Earth, their weapons primed. The Emperor, in a grand proclamation, declared humanity's end. Billions across the galaxy watched, cheering for the inevitable victory. Earth's response: a final message. "Turn back now. This is your last chance." No threats, no ultimatums, just a simple warning. The Empire laughed, and then they attacked. The first wave of orbital bombardments rained down on Earth, but something was wrong. The shields held, far stronger than anticipated. The Empire recalibrated, preparing for a second, more concentrated assault. But humanity did not fight back. No counterattacks. No desperate last stand. Just silence. For the first time, the Empire felt a sliver of doubt. They had faced rebellion before. They had seen defiance. But never had they encountered such eerie, unwavering calm. Deep beneath the surface of Earth, in a hidden command center, preparations were complete. The weapon was ready. It was not a fleet. Not a superweapon. Not a planetary shield. It was a single, unassuming device, small enough to fit in a room, yet powerful enough to end a war before it began. Its creators simply called it the button. Decades of human ingenuity had led to this moment, a weapon that did not destroy, did not maim, did not ravage entire cities. It erased completely, utterly, without a trace. The Empire never knew what happened. One moment, their fleets filled the sky. The next, they were gone. No wreckage, no explosions, no signs of battle. Just empty space. The Yao Emperor's Grand Armada, the greatest force in the galaxy, vanished in an instant. And humanity? They went back to their lives. For them, it had never been a war. It had simply been a lesson, a warning to the galaxy. A demonstration of what happened when you underestimated Earth. Despite the chaos, the Empire's leaders did not fight back yet appeared unaffected by their efforts. In response, they gave their scientists instructions to examine the irregularities and try to figure out how to get beyond Earth's defenses. But because the phenomena they saw didn't fit any known technology, experts were equally perplexed. It seemed as though the commanders, unable to grasp the fact that the planet itself was rejecting the Empire's presence, continued on. They thought that, as more ships descended, pure force would eventually prevail. As the anomaly escalated, entire squadrons abruptly switched off their transmissions and disappeared without a trace. There were no explosions or debris. This wasn't destruction in the traditional sense. The ships just ceased to exist. But the Empire's military was being methodically decimated. They were unable to observe how panic spread throughout the ranks of the invincible fleet. The Empire's pride was waning in the face of an adversary they couldn't even confront. The very quality that had propelled their growth turned out to be their greatest vulnerability, one they had misjudged. Since humanity saw them as unimportant, their arrogance prevented them from seeing the true potential of their opponent. Even as their fleet broke apart, they held on to the hope that Earth possessed powers they simply couldn't comprehend. From Earth's point of view, the war was already over. Yet victory was still possible, despite the fact that humanity had not fired a single shot. The Empire's armies were in chaos. The button had triggered the effects of humanity's greatest creation, one designed to destroy the invaders without causing any harm to the Empire's citizens. This was hardly a war. Ships and soldiers were being eliminated from the equation without resorting to violence. The Galactic Empire, despite its might and arrogance, had never faced an adversary like humanity. They had readied themselves for a traditional war, one fought with ships and weapons. But humanity had decided to fight a different war, one where the strengths of the Empire were meaningless. From the start, it was clear that this battle would be won by ingenuity rather than brute strength or firepower. One pivotal action had rendered the Empire's power inconsequential. As the fleet shrank, the remaining ships made an effort to flee, but even this was futile. The irregularities went beyond capturing any ship that came near Earth's atmosphere. They were stuck, unable to move forward, unable to flee. What had started out as an invasion had turned into a terrifying encounter with a foe they couldn't understand. For the first time in its history, the Galactic Empire was helpless, and the button's repercussions were immediate and permanent. Once a representation of supreme strength, the Empire's fleet vanished in a second. No explosion, no spectacular destruction, just silence. Thousands of ships, loaded with troops, weapons, and technology, were gone. After filling the skies for mere moments, they disappeared. There were no signs of battle, and life on Earth's surface proceeded as if nothing had ever happened. Yet the tremendous power that had just been unleashed sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. Humanity had meticulously and carefully prepared for this moment, ensuring that pressing the button wouldn't result in any unintended consequences. This was not just a show of power, it was a statement. As the effects of the button reverberated throughout the galaxy, Earth remained at peace despite the possibility of turmoil or disaster. When the first reports of the fleet's disappearance reached the Empire's homeworlds, there was uncertainty. The fleet's communications had stopped. Efforts to re-establish contact failed. At first, they thought it was a technical glitch, possibly interference from Earth. But as minutes stretched into hours, the truth became undeniable. Armadas had disappeared. No survivors, no wreckage, nothing. Panic spread among the Empire's elite. Those who had once boldly proclaimed their inevitable victory now found their advisors scrambling to make sense of Earth's mysterious defeat. They analyzed every piece of data they could find, but the more they searched, the less they understood. The Empire's ships had been wiped out, but they had not been annihilated. Even with their advanced understanding, they had no precedent for such an event. It violated every known law of physics. As the news spread, fear ripped through the Empire's core worlds. The once invincible rulers now found themselves paralyzed by doubt. Whispers of Earth's power turned into widespread paranoia, and species that had once been subjugated began to rise. The myth of human insignificance was shattered. Now, the galaxy feared the power of a species it had once ignored. The Empire's downfall was not just a military loss, it was a psychological collapse. Their faith in their own supremacy had been destroyed, and with it, the foundation of their rule.